Hey there, Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter, with a frugal tip today that will help you make your colored pencil sets more useful. So a lot of times we order colored pencils and they come in tins, and within the tins there are some trays with these little pinchy finger things. Well, if you have been using disposable masks during this pandemic, or you know someone who has, you can ask them to save you the elastics. Just snip them off before you throw your mask away. Besides, that's a really great idea because that way, if these happen to get out of the trash and wildlife come in contact with the masks, they can't get tangled up in them if there's none of the ear loop straps left. So save the little elastics from disposable masks if you use them. If not, ask somebody else to. I use cloth ones, but my kids use disposable ones. And then I'm going to show you how you can attach them to your trays so you can have nice little loops, which are so much easier for picking up these trays, especially if you have large hands, or, you know, it's just kind of hard to pick those to squeeze these little bits right here. I mean, you can do it, but, you know, it's easy to drop them too, and if you drop colored pencils, you could be in for a world of hurt because the leads can break and it can be very, very upsetting and very frustrating. So I'm going to remove my pencils here and just set them in my tray, my tin, and then I've just got a scrap of fabric to fold up to use as just kind of something to poke my awl against. Now this is just a regular awl. You could also use like a scrapbooking pokey tool or a safety pin, something that will poke a hole. I like an awl though because it's a little bit thicker, and I'm going to poke a hole. I'm going to make them about 3 inches apart, so I'm going to go on either side of the little thumb grips through the back, so that way I'm not compressing the, I'm not poking from the front and then risking cracking that plastic. So this is a pretty, you know, it's a pretty brittle type of plastic. And I like to keep my pencils in tins. I don't see the point in, you know, buying something different when it comes with a lovely tin to keep my pencils in. And then what you're going to do is take that awl again. Now if you're using a safety pin to poke the holes, you might need to get like a pencil for this because a safety pin's probably too skinny. You're just going to place that the end of your liberated mask string, and you're just going to poke that through. Now I think ribbon would probably work just fine, but the elastics work really well. Oh my gosh, one of those things that worked perfectly when I did it. I think I didn't poke as big of a hole this time as I did the other time. You're just going to poke that through the pilot holes there. And you're going to flip it over. Now you could do little knots on either side. Like if you wanted to space your ribbons further apart, then you could just do a knot at each end. But to make them a little more secure, because like I said, you don't want to drop your pencils, so you wouldn't want to risk. If you are going to do knots on the ends, you might even want to put a bead on it first, like a pony bead or something, so those holes can't pull through, because you don't want to do this craft and then end up, you know, making something that's going to make you drop your pencils, basically. You know, if a hole pulled through, then your pencils would drop and you could ruin them. So after getting the overhand knot done, I'm just going to tighten it. And because this is an elastic material, it does tighten up really well. And then when you pull it up on the front, you'll see that you have a nice little elasticized loop. I got the idea because some of my pencil sets, I think the Faber-Castells, have the little elasticy loops to pull up, and I always love that feature. Now their elastics are a little bit nicer. They're more like hair tie elastics, but these will certainly get the job done. I don't think there's going to be, you know, any sort of use difference. So we're going to do the same thing over here, a little bit quicker this time. This is actually pretty quick, so if you had a bunch of these you wanted to do, it won't take you very much time. You're just going to remember to save those mask strings. What a world, right? But I'm glad that there's a use for these, so we don't have to throw everything away, you know? I don't like the cloth ones. I've only tried one of the, I don't like the disposable ones. I only tried one disposable one just to see, because I know I was going to be out of the house for quite a while, and I heard that the disposable ones were better protection, but I didn't like it. I thought they smelled funny, and they weren't as soft as my handmade ones, or the, you know, Hanes ones that I like to buy. And there you have it. We could put our pencils right back in there. I'm not going to color sort them. Just want to give you the gist here. By the way, I recommend sharpening your watercolor pencils unless you need a really sharp point for something with a knife. That way you can just remove the wood casing. See this? You just remove the wood casing and then you've got all that pigment stick right there. So it just helps you conserve. Unless you need something for a fine point, then of course you could, you know, sharpen that in a sharpener. But look at that. So much easier. So we get our little tin back. We lift up on our little elastics. and put them back in, easy as can be. And that won't really add any bulk to your trays either, which is nice. So I hope you enjoyed this little recycling tip. This is my old set of Derwent watercolor pencils. I figured I'd try it on an older set rather than a new set in case it didn't work too well. But it worked great, and these certainly are plentiful nowadays. Please give me a thumbs up if you enjoy these quick and easy tips, and I can bring you some more. Thanks for watching. Until next time, happy crafting.